Wow. What is that? Navy pilots report unexplained flying objects. These things will be out there all day, Lieutenant Ryan Graves said. Keeping an aircraft in the air requires a significant amount of energy. With the speeds we've observed, 12 hours in the air is 11 hours longer than we'd expect. Washington. The strange objects, one of them, like a spinning top moving against the wind, appeared almost daily from the summer of 2014 to March 2015, high in the skies over the East Coast. Navy pilots reported that their superiors that the objects had no visible engine or infrared exhaust plumes, but they could reach 30,000 feet at hypersonic speeds, and I will add, with no sonic booms. These things will be out there all day, said Lieutenant Ryan Graves, an FA-18 Super Hornet pilot who had been in the Navy for 10 years, who had reported his sightings to the Pentagon and Congress. Keeping an aircraft in the air requires a significant amount of energy. With the speeds we observe, 12 hours in the air is 11 hours longer than we'd expect. In late 2014, a Super Hornet pilot had a near collision with one of the objects, and an official mishap report was filed. Some of the incidents were videotaped, including one taken by a plane's camera in early 2015 that shows an object zooming over the ocean's wave as pilots question what they are watching. Wow, what is that, man? Look at it fly. We've seen that. No one in the Defense Department is saying that the objects were extraterrestrial. Okay. And experts emphasize that earthly explanations can generally be found in such incidents. That is equally disturbing, I will point out. Lieutenant Graves and 4 other Navy pilots who said in interviews with the New York Times that they saw the objects in 2014 and 2015 in training maneuvers from Virginia to Florida of the aircraft carrier Theodore Roosevelt make no assertions of their provenance. But the objects have gotten to the attention of the Navy, which earlier this year sent out a new classified guidance for how to report what the military calls unexplained aerial phenomenon, or UAPs, the rebranding of UFOs, or unidentified flying objects. Joseph Gradisher, a Navy spokesman, said the new guidance was an update of instructions that went out in the fleet in 2015 after the Roosevelt incidents. There were a number of different reports, he said. Some cases could have been commercial drones, he said, but other cases, we don't know who's doing this. We don't know. We don't have enough data to track it. So the intent of the message to the fleet is to provide updated guidance on reporting procedure to suspected intrusions into our airspace. In other words, they're trying to normalize it. The sightings were reported to the Pentagon's shadowy, little-known Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program, which analyzed the radar data, video footage, and accounts provided by senior officers from the Roosevelt. Louis Elizondo, a military intelligence official who ran the program until he resigned in 2017, called the sightings a striking series of incidents. Okay, we'll go over the rest of this article in a little bit. I want to talk to you. I watched Greetings, everybody. This is Gary from Nerdrotic. How's everybody doing? Unplanned live stream here. But a lot of stuff has gone down in the last couple days. I did send some messages out to Doomcock. He is very busy. So this is not an official Exozone, but we will consider it a commercial for the Exozone. So please do tune into the Exozone, which is the brainchild of Doomcock and myself. And it is our paranormal show that we are going to find a new date for and do regularly. And once we know, you will know. But what has gone down in the last 48 hours is pretty interesting. It is this trickle disclosure that I and many others have suspected would happen. It was only a matter of time. What's leading to this is some very interesting things that I just found out today. So I watched Richard Dolan's live stream, and I saw a couple Fandom Menace members in there. So what's up? I think I saw Tim F in there, and Reviving Real News was in there. That's cool as hell. What's up, Mary? Thank you for joining with the wrench. Greetings, everybody. I will say hello to you in just a second. So Richard Dolan's live stream. Richard Dolan is like the common sense class, the best voice ufology has since the passing of the late great Stanton Freeman. Richard Dolan now takes the baton as, to me, the leader of the ufology movement. I know many people will not like that, but honestly, it's we the people who decide. And I don't think there are too many people who would argue that he would be the best person to represent the field. I don't think he would even want it, but that's why he should have it, kind of like a king, because he's a classy guy. He treats everybody with respect, but he also doesn't take any BS, and he's not afraid to say what he thinks. And I think he just is a brilliant guy. And I'm looking forward to seeing him, and I'll make sure I meet him at Contact in the Desert. So he had a great live stream today talking about this, and I'm forgetting her name. Forgive me, Richard, your wife, your lovely wife, did the live stream with you. And they both agreed that this, while the last time we heard something from the New York Times, and we don't need the New York Times to validate any of this crap. We don't need them. The fact that they're doing it is interesting. I think they need readers. I think they need to win some people back, and this is a way they're doing it. And I think they're being used by the government to do this. The reason I think these things are happening is I have learned, I am not a military guy, so if there's military people in the chat, please correct me if I'm wrong, but we have new radar technology. Now, I'm talking new as in the last decade and a half. That's really a leap in radar technology. So things that we couldn't see 20 years ago, we can see now, and we can track them now. And what I saw, the Nimitz incident, by the way, has its own YouTube channel now, and there's a mini documentary there with the 4 people who were on the Nimitz who witnessed the Tic Tac UFO. And when you see, we didn't get the full footage there. When we saw the footage from New York Times and when it was disclosed, we saw a little piece of it, and we get a reenactment of the entire incident, and it is a holy shit. So there were multiple Tic Tacs for multiple days off of San Clemente Island near my old hometown of San Diego, California. And they have been there for days, and they really didn't think much of them. They were like, there's these things, and maybe they're drones and whatever. But during a training exercise, they finally had the opportunity to fly some planes over. And what wasn't mentioned before is there was a mothership. There was a mothership in the water that the little Tic Tacs were flying around. And the way these things move, if it is any other countries, if it's not, say it's not UFOs and it belongs to another country, we should be equally disturbed. Like, this is a major problem. These things were going from the atmosphere to 55 feet above sea level in a second, and they weren't creating any sonic booms, which is kind of impossible. So they're breaking the laws of physics here, but people saw them with their own eyes. We're talking military pilots, trained observers, and we have video footage. Apparently there's clearer video footage out there, but they're not releasing it. So what we had during the disclosure, which a lot of people were calling it bullshit because of this, they were mixed up these 2 incidents. They have the East Coast incidents, which I just read you, with the guys going, dude, what's that, bro? Dude, that's like totally a UFO, bro. And then we had and that happened in 2014, 2015 on the East Coast. And then we had the Tic Tac. So we have the top on the East Coast and the Tic Tac on the West Coast. Why is the Navy doing this? Because it's becoming a problem. And imagine how big of a problem it must be when they had to come out to the public and talk about, hey, we're going to try to normalize UFO reporting. We're going to destigmatize, which is huge. And they're going as far as relabeling UFOs to UAPs now, which fine, whatever it takes for the government to finally tell us the truth. the fact of the matter is in my opinion, what has kept the government from telling us the truth is because they would have to admit that they have lied to us for over 75 years, which I will tell the government right now, I don't care. At this point, I don't care. And I don't think most of the people will care either. We kind of understand that you had to kind of figure out what's going on. If you can't answer the question, what's the point in telling anybody? It's kind of like if we know there's a meteor coming at the earth and we're all going to die and there's zero we can do about it. Do you tell the public? Probably not. So I think I'm not going to have high hopes. I think it's going to be a trickle effect. It's going to be leaked out a little bit here and there. And I'm talking over the next 5, 6, 10 years. And honestly, the thing happened last December. This happened 2 days ago. And people are just kind of, meh. The people who don't believe are going to continue not believing. Why do they not believe? That's a good question. That's a question I ask myself. Like, it's not even a matter of belief. I'm talking consideration. I'm not saying believe. I don't know if I 100% believe. I'm pretty close, but I haven't seen one myself. So, but I've seen a lot of evidence and just the facts that we're discovering exoplanets and there's billions of them. Yeah, there's life out there. Sure, they could be visiting us. We could probably be nothing to them. And they're just observing. There's something that interests us. I imagine it's probably in our oceans. I imagine they're all over our oceans if they're here, because that's an easy place to hide because we don't go down there. But for the people who just fervently don't want to believe, I've never understood a dogmatic non-belief. I fully respect all of our atheist friends out there. Hell, I was one for a very long time. But I never understood the fervent belief of, I don't believe. That's like saying, I don't like pizza. Walking around just telling people, you shouldn't eat pizza because I don't like it. I don't care. I mean, it's great. It's great that you don't. And, I'm not sure what I believe, to be honest with you. So I'm kind of there with you. But it's interesting. I think it's fascinating that this is happening. And it's a coordinated thing. There happens to be 2 very big shows coming out this weekend. One, most people don't take seriously, but they love, and it's Ancient Aliens. And another one called Unidentified, which is supposed to be like a pretty comprehensive UFO show. Like Richard Dolan was pumping it big time, and it's coming out this Friday. And it's also Contact in the Desert. This smells of coordination to me. Why would the government coordinate with the newspapers I'm just thinking this problem must be a lot more serious than we know, because it would take a lot for the government to just come out and say anything, unless they feel like it's time. I don't know. I'll get to you guys in the chat and see what you think. Jeff McKinley, $5. Gary, think there's something to be said about slow dripping alien info to the public so that they won't be freaked out when and if first contact is made. That's assuming it hasn't been made yet, which I don't know. But yeah, I think there's something to be said about it. And I think it's a smart move. Honestly, I don't care how we get it, as long as we get it. Now, there's going to be people out there, and I'm not going to, Project Bluebeam, which is it's the theory of a fake alien invasion to keep the machine going, to keep the war machine going. We've kind of, the military industrial complex needs to be fed. So we've done the terrorist thing. We've done the wars forever thing. Those seem to be hopefully winding down. We need something else. So Project Bluebeam is supposedly a fake alien invasion to keep that stuff going and to unite humanity and stuff. That's out there. I'm not saying I believe it or not, but that's out there. Peter Davison, Australian $10. By the way, Jeff, I'm going to unbox the Rocinante tomorrow live. Okay. So thank you. I got it. And I haven't even looked at it yet. I'm holding out until I want to do it, the reaction on the live stream tomorrow. So thank you, Jeff. Peter Davison, Australian $10. Trickle, water torture. Does anybody remember the Disney Halloween album? at all with the haunted house sound effects and then the guy getting the water torture? Does anybody remember that album? That's what I'm thinking of Peter Davison. It's the one everybody in the 70s played. You're supposed to play it on Halloween. You put it on your record player and it's just a bunch of creepy things. I love that album. Chris Wilson, $6.99. I feel like I'm watching a Joe Rogan, Eddie Bravo podcast. Speak of, you should go on the Joe Rogan Experience. Oh my God, I'd die to go on the Joe Rogan Experience. Joe Rogan is an inspiration and a hero, even though he talks about DMT all the time. I would love to debate him on that a little bit, but he seems to be really steadfast. I love Joe Rogan, and I love the fact that that brings him joy, and I just don't think it's for everybody. But I love him. I do. He just did a podcast with Eddie Calderon, who was a guy who was a military guy down in Mexico and talking about breaking up all the cartels. Oh my God. Listen to that podcast. Oh, that dude. There's some badasses in the world. That dude's a badass. Straight up badass. Dr. Venkman, $2. Ghostbusters, we're ready to believe. We're ready to believe you. Back off, man. I'm a scientist. Tech guy, $2. Yes, exo-ish stuff. Yeah, I don't want to use it without Doomcock, my buddy here. He's busy. I left him a couple messages and I got to remember to check. I did send him the link, but I mean, I haven't heard from him today. He's doing stuff. He's probably making robots, he's a busy guy, taking over the world. He just, it just doesn't happen by itself. Yes, exo-ish stuff. I have a cryptid story. What's your cryptid story, tech guy? Tell me. Tech guy, $2. Something is going on. Yes. Across board, all levels. Yes. Something has been going on. Now you guys got to go to the Nimitz channel. It's the Nimitz incident or Nimitz encounter. I'll try to link it in the description. I'll search it up in a bit. But they just put out a half-hour documentary that's fascinating. It's utterly fascinating. Gary, did you watch Doomcock's Game of Thrones video? Asked Nicholas Horton for £2. I did. I loved it. That ending was so much better than the show. It had so much more emotional impact. It still had your subversion of expectations. It still felt like Game of Thrones. And honestly, there is a very good argument to be made that Jon sitting on the throne is actually a subversion of expectations. So I thought it was excellent. C. Lebetki. What's up, Svi? My alien friend, Mazel Tov. 1999. Hey there, off topic, but really need to have a quick chat with you. If possible, before the toxic mailbag, it'll totally be to your advantage. Set contact info via Patreon and PayPal. Okay, morning for me. So gotta go. All right, let's find it. Thank you for the 1999 fee. Let's talk tomorrow sometime. I don't know what our time difference is, but I'm other than the live stream, I'm going to be cutting a video in the morning, a Game of Thrones video, but I'll have the afternoon free. I got a lot of people to contact tomorrow, but I will make you one of them. Bruce Lombardo, thank you very, very much for the 1999. Bruce Lombardo, $2. Did you hear that Doomcock's Game of Thrones? How I would fix it? Oh, yes, I did. Thank you, Bruce Lombardo. I loved it. Mr. Roboto, $2. DMT worked for Grant Morrison. You did it? I don't know. That's good. That's good to hear. I've heard it worked for a lot of people. And that's great. The thing is, it's incredibly risky. I have a lot of experience with hallucinogens, more than I care to say, but they are not for everybody. They are for a lot of people, but for some people, they are death. Red Monarch, $5 for your notes. G, look into Sky Dome Atlantis for Exozone. Will do. Red Monarch. Let me get my notes. Let me clear my throat. Where's my pen? Jesus Christ. I got everything except a pen here. Hang on. I don't want to give you guys a crotch shot because I have to lean over. Oh, no pens. There we go. No crotch shots. All right. Sky Dome Atlantis. Okay. Sky Dome Atlantis. Right. Chat. I will get to you in a sec. Okay. Gary, have you seen Brightsight's latest video? Mr. Twisted 72. Thank you for the $1.99. When was has he put out a video since Atlantis? If it's like in the last month, I have not seen it. I will watch it directly after this. Bright Insight is a great channel. Great channel. Dr. Fordman Colossus, $5. Gary, Mary Ashman needs to retire early. Can you appoint an alternate wrench? Yeah, tell her to go ahead. I think I should have somebody in here. Christy Miller's here, right? Christy Miller's here. She is a moderator on the other channel. So we got Christy Miller. I think Mary needs to go. You got it, Christy. You're done. Thank you. I appreciate you guys. And Dr. Forbin, you're awesome. I still have to watch the movie. I will watch the movie by next week. Okay. Thanks. Completely off topic, says Tokyo Gaijin for 600 yen. Where are the higher tier Patreon perks coming back? I could only do $1. Here's some more cash anyway. Thank you. They are oh man, I'm sorry about that. I've just been overwhelmed. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I've been completely overwhelmed with everything. I'm just so I have hired my son. I hired my first employee. So Indigo is going to be working for the channel. That will free me up to answer emails and do tiers. The new tiers will probably be at the end or mid-June. I'm about to go out of town. Actually, I'm going down to Contact early because of this news. I was going to skip a day of Contact and stay home and review. I was going to stay home for Good Omens, but what I'm going to do is go down early. I got my Airbnb an extra day. I'm going to go down there early, and I'm still going to review Good Omens, and I'm going to try to see Godzilla. That's going to be kind of impossible, but I'll try. But I got to see Godzilla. No, I can't. Oh, I got to wait. I got to wait to see Godzilla because Junior wants to see it, so I can't see it till next week, so I'm good there. Anthony Laturza. Anthony Laturza. I'm sorry, Anthony. $2. Just watch the video on Anas. I wish I could help. Oh, you know what? Watching and give Anas some love on Twitter, and that is help. That is all the help we need. If you could share the video, get the word out there that Anas is getting completely screwed. Just listen. I hold no hope that he'll win the case. I want him to win the case, but he's taking on a giant corporation. Just things don't happen like that. But I want him to win it in the court of public opinion. I want CBS to feel great shame over this. I want them to be embarrassed to death. That's what I want. The treatment of him has been, for a lack of a better word, deplorable. Okay, we're going to get to the chat here. Did it go down for a second? I don't know. Godzilla. Yeah, if I could, I promised Junior I would wait to see. He wants to see Godzilla for last day of school. So on the 4th is his last day of school. He and I are going to have some pizza and we're going to go see some Godzilla. And I can't think of a better thing to do in the world than have some pizza with my son and go see a big monster movie. Heaven. Swamp Thing too, Kaylee. I'll be covering Swamp Thing. So there's Good Omens, there's Swamp Thing, there's Ancient Aliens premiering, and then there's Unidentified. I'm fired up for it. That's 4 things. So it's gonna be very busy. Plus, I'll be live streaming every night. Every night. You guys will be sick of me. I've been following Anas for months. I don't have much of a reach, but I do share story. Anthony, whatever reach you can do is appreciated. You are helping. That is completely helping. Don't put yourself down, man. That is brilliant, Anthony. Thank you so much. Nyla Shadow, thank you. Welcome, Mary. Have a good night. Thanks for hanging in there as long as you could. I know it's late over there. Um, actually, most of the pyramids are built on old structures. Zippo Fanatic 77. Most things are built on old structures. Isn't that weird? I think it's weird. I think it's weird, and we should put it out. So Peter Davison did miss. Oh, that was you. That was you. You dog. You dog. In a good way. Peter Davison, Australian $5. Yes, Mrs. Nerdrotic received her flowers. Thank you very much. She thought she got them for me. I'm like, I didn't send any flowers. Peter, you are a gentleman. You are a class, all class. You give your mom a big hug for me, okay? And Mrs. Nerdrotic says thank you, and I'll make sure she says thank you personally next live stream, okay? I'll make sure she sticks her head in here and thanks you. All the love that she got over that was brilliant. Seriously, freaking idiots. They think they're gonna do anything. Come on. If you need mods, I can help the channel and the main one. Kaylee, oh god, yeah, Kaylee, of course. I promised you that. Hang on. Boom. Okay, done. Okay, so okay, I'm gonna get back to you guys in the chat because I love you. But let's get to the other part of that article. It's fascinating. Now, again, this is the only time I'll read the New York Times. I think it's trash. We don't need their help, but great, whatever it takes. But honestly, don't need them. The sightings were reported to the Pentagon's shadow. I already read that part. We can go to this part. The program, which began in 2007, was largely funded at the request of Harry Reid, the Nevada Democrat who was the Senate Majority Leader at the time. Was officially shut down in 2012. Yeah, right. It's just called something else when the money dried up. Again, right. According to the Pentagon, but the Navy recently said it currently investigates military reports of UFOs, and Mr. Elizondo, and others participated, say the program, part of what remains classified, has continued in other forms. The program has also studied video that shows a whitish oval object, the Tic Tac, described as a giant Tic Tac about the size of a commercial plane encountered by two Navy fighter jets off the coast of San Diego, 2004. Okay, one thing that Tic Tac did is two planes were flying in, I guess, tandem. Again, military people, don't laugh at me. I know nothing about militaries, but they were each 100 feet apart, and the Tic Tac flew in between them at 30,000 miles an hour, and it didn't blow them off or anything. It just pew, some ridiculous speed. Okay, nothing can go that fast that's made of meat. Okay, it is so unlikely that it competes with many other low probability but more mundane explanations. He added that there are so many other possibilities: bugs in the code or imaging and display systems, atmospheric effects and reflections, neurological overload from multiple inputs during high-speed flight. Wow, they are really stretching. They are. Oh, yeah. Leon Glubb, a senior astrophysicist at the Harvard Smithsonian Center of Astrophysics, said the possibility of an extraterrestrial cause is so unlikely that it competes with many other low probability. Yeah, okay, dude, whatever. I guess they have to put that in there. Lieutenant Graves still cannot explain what he saw. In the summer of 2014, he and Lieutenant Danny Accoin, another Super Hornet pilot, were part of a squadron of VFA 11 Red Rippers out of a National Air Station, Oceana, Virginia, where that was training for development to the Persian Gulf. Lieutenant Graves and Accoin spoke on the record to the Times about the objects. Three other pilots in the squadron also spoke to the Times about the objects, but declined to be named. Lieutenant Graves and Accoin, along with former American intelligence officers, appear in a six-part History Channel series, Unidentified: Inside America's UFO Investigation, to air beginning Friday. The Times conducted separate interviews with key participants. The pilots began noticing the objects after their 1980s era radar was upgraded to a more advanced system. As one fighter jet after another got the new radar, pilots began picking up the objects, but ignoring what they thought were false radar tracks. People have seen strange stuff in military aircraft for decades, Lieutenant Graves said. We're doing this very complex mission to go from 30,000 feet, diving down. It would be a pretty big deal to have something up there. But he said the objects persisted, showing up at 30,000 feet, 20,000 feet, even at sea level. They could accelerate, slow down, and then hit hypersonic speeds. Lieutenant Coyne said he interacted twice with the objects. The first time, after picking up the object on his radar, he set his plane to merge with it, flying 1,000 feet below it. He said he should have been able to see it with his helmet camera, but he could not, even though his radar told him it was there. A few days later, Lieutenant Coyne said a training missile on his jet locked on the object, and his infrared camera picked it up as well. I knew I had it. I knew it was not a false hit, he said, but still, I could not pick it up visually. Well, it's obviously predator technology. At this point, the pilot said that he speculated that the objects were part of some classified and extremely advanced drone program. Okay. If we have drones that can go 30,000 miles an hour and defy the laws of physics without sonic booms, we'll rule the world. We win. We win the world. But then pilots began seeing the objects in late 2014. Lieutenant Graves said he was back at the base in Virginia Beach when he encountered a squadron mate just back from a mission with a look of shock on his face. He said he was stunned to hear that the pilot's words, "I almost hit one of those things," the pilot said to Graves. The pilot was with a wingman flying a tandem about 100 feet over the Atlantic east of Virginia Beach when something flew between them right past the cockpit. You know, the cockpit. We all know what the cockpit is from Captain Marvel. The cockpit, bruh. It looked to the pilot, Lieutenant Graves said, like a sphere encased in a cube. A sphere encased in a cube. The incident so spooked the squadron that an aviation flight safety report was filed, Lieutenant Graves said. The near miss he and other pilots interviewed said angered the squadron and convinced them that the objects were not part of a classified drone program. Government officials would know fighter pilots were trained in that area, they reasoned, and would not send drones their way. Agreed. It turned from a potentially classified drone program to a safety issue, Lieutenant Graves said. It was going to be a matter of time before something had a midair collision. What was strange, the pilot said, was that the video showed objects accelerating to hypersonic speed, making sudden stops and... Sorry, I just got to make sure... Okay, hypersonic speed, making sudden stops and instantaneous turns, something beyond the physical limits of a human crew. Speed doesn't kill you, stopping does, or acceleration. Anybody who watches The Expanse knows this. Asked what they thought the objects were, the pilots refused to speculate. We have helicopters that can hover. We have aircraft that can fly by at 30,000 feet and right at the surface, but combine all of them in one vehicle of some type with no jet engine, no exhaust plume. Lieutenant Coyne said only that we're here to do a job with excellence, not to make up myths. His story might change once he's out. I will tell you a little story of the Nimitz crew that will interest you. In March 2015, the Roosevelt left the coast of Florida and headed to the Persian Gulf as part of the American-led mission fighting the Islamic State, Iraq, and Syria. The same pilots who were interacting with the objects off the East Coast were soon doing bombing missions over Iraq and Syria. The incidents tapered off after they left the United States, the pilot said. Well, they left the United States, so the incidents, did you see that word right there? tapered off. 2 words, sorry. They didn't go away. So the interesting part about the Nimitz, going back to the Tic Tac, is after the incident, all the men were taken into a room with their superior officers and forced to sign an NDA. Now we've heard this story before, a million times before, but I've never heard it from actual military men who had to sign that NDA, and they must be cleared to talk about it now because those NDAs don't really expire, especially when it comes to something like that. So I highly recommend. Let me find it. Nimitz and YouTube. One moment. There it is. All right. I want everybody. Oh, thanks. Thanks. You got it. Everybody to give them a sub if you're into this stuff. Watch that first video. Give them a like. Give them a share. The video came out 2 days ago. It's only got 18,000 views. This thing will have 1 million. I guarantee this will have 1 million views. These guys are, ex-military. They're ex-Navy. They look like stand-up guys. So they have a Facebook group. You can link their Facebook group on their YouTube channel. And yeah, show them a little support, because there's a couple interviews where you could see them getting emotional. Like they've been holding on to this for a decade. They've been made to there's been a lot of scorn within, either from their superiors or from other people. People who encounter UFOs go through a lot of shame, just for simply witnessing something. And it's all fear-based. It's all fear-based. People who vehemently do not believe in UFOs, it's okay to do that. And I think if you're just a well-adjusted person, you just don't believe that stuff, and you go, hey, I don't believe it. I don't care if you do. And I don't care if you don't believe UFOs. But to try to shame other people, call them crazy or anything, that's been going on for decades. And it's clear something is happening. I speculate quite a bit what it is. But I really don't have any idea. I like some theories out there. I'm not a theory person myself, but I like some of the theories I heard. Some sound believable and some sound absolutely crazy. But absolutely crazy is not impossible. What's impossible is the Tic Tac moving up and down 30,000 feet at 30,000 miles an hour and not making a sonic boom. That is impossible unless there's some kind of anti-gravity field. So one of the witnesses to the Tic Tac said there's clear video, and said the Tic Tac had some appendages coming out the bottom, and that there was heat waves. It looked like heat waves around it. So there was something vibrating. Those Tic Tacs were over something in the water that they couldn't quite make out that was big. Now these Tic Tacs, they look small, but they're the size of, they're big. They're the size of like a jumbo jet. They're moving like crazy. Here, I'm going to, hopefully they won't copyright strike me. I'm going to get to the animation part. There we go. And we'll take a look at this. I keep checking because I did send a link to Doomcock just in case, but I don't want to pressure him and stuff. So here is the animation. There it is. Again, that's a recreation, obviously. So the water disturbance is like the mothership. And this is what this thing was doing. Pretty nuts. And it's all due to this new radar technology that we're starting to pick stuff up. So let's get back to you guys. Peter Davison. Oh, thank you for the Australian $5, and really thank you, man. That was super cool. That kind of made everything, I don't know. I don't want to get too mushy, but it just filled my heart with joy. It did. It did. Uh, Thank you again. Tokyo Gaijin, I'm going to mispronounce this. I apologize. The Shibuya neighborhood of Tokyo is built on a graveyard. Is it like haunted? Uh, for 600 yen. Thank you. Tell me stories. Oh yeah, please send me all your stories. Gary@nerderotic.com. We need material for Exozone, and I'd love it to be from you guys. At work, watching on my phone, Camp Mod, Mr. Twisted 72. It's okay, man. It's okay. You are a mod. Well, let me make you a mod here because you're a mod over at the big channel. Pretty much if you're a patron, you can be a mod. That's fine. Just so you know, I mean, if you guys don't know, this is how I ask the mods to kind of speak how I would speak and treat things like if people say stuff about me or disagree, that's fine. It's fine. It really is. But like rolling in here and spamming and stuff like that, that's what I have a problem with. I'm not a big fan of the spam. And I don't think anybody is. But I appreciate all of your help. I mean, it is voluntary and it is greatly appreciated. So, thank you. Tech Guy, $2. It is said that they have gone to ultraviolet cloaking. I could believe that. It's the speeds. Cloaking, yeah, I mean, listen, that's technology they've been working on since World War II. So Tech Guy, I agree with you. They could, cloaking is something that I believe can happen. The thing is, they might have gotten it from UFO technology. That's the thing. If you've read any Philip Corso, The Day After Roswell, thank you for the $2 super chat. You need a Ghostbuster mod. Dr. Vankman, I emailed you some Exozone stories a while ago in case you haven't seen them. I have seen them, Nihilist Shadow. They are in the doc, ready to be talked about. Might talk about them this weekend. Your wife is a trooper and a hard worker. I admire her. It made me mad, said Mary Ashmead. Yeah, it made me mad too. The thing is, if Justin M faced my wife, she could probably knock him out. She's got a mean right hook. She's not to be effed with at all. I'm not joking about that. I've been to many punk rock shows with her and seen her throw with some skinheads. So it's not really advisable. Yeah, so I did discuss Project Bluebeam, and that's something, I mean, we can't ignore at all with this. It has to be brought into the conversation. If we're going to consider everything, that's the thing about the Exozone and what we do is we consider everything, then you have to consider Project Bluebeam. What's Project Bluebeam? A fake alien invasion to kind of bring people together. Think Watchmen. It always works out well. Eric K. I will let you know if I ever want to be a mod. Thanks, Eric. If you guys are on, I got to redo the mod system. I'm trying to get everybody in one place so we can have meetings and everything. It's just gonna have to wait till after I travel, but I don't mind having a lot of mods. Believe me, I could use them. I'm sure it's just a meme. I'm sure it's. I have no idea who it was, but I don't care. The government did this, says Christy Miller. Gary, do you watch Tim Pool? He did a video on this. I haven't seen his video on this, but I do watch Tim Pool. I do. I watched Tyler's video on this for Secure Team. He's my go-to UFO guy, Tyler. He's the best. No sharp teeth, though. Hell no. If they do bring us together, it will have to be in a single external enemy, not for world peace. There is no money in peace. Dax Jacobson, you are correct. Unfortunately, you are correct. I'm not going to argue with that. There are lots. They're called sturgeons. Damn sturgeons. Lake Superior. Aliens do exist 100%. They probably just don't come here physically. That's what I believe. Zippo Fanatic 77. Yeah, the grays are basically drones. That's what I mainly believe. that the Greys are not the aliens. They are simply tools. If there's a steady paycheck in it, I'll believe in anything you want, says Dr. Venkman. Let's get back up here. And thank you for putting in all the links, everybody. Going to fall asleep to the Silver Sun pickups tonight. Oh, the Silver Sun pickups. Aren't they from Silver Lake? I think every hipster band is from Silver Lake. I hung out in LA for a couple years and I hate Silver Lake. I really do. Greys are drone robots. Yes, Spence. I totally believe that. I totally believe that. Have you ever will you ever team up with Jeremy of Geeks and Gamer for some paranormal activities? Absolutely. Jeremy can come on my show whenever he wants. He has the key to neurotic. I think he's thinking about doing some kind of ghost show over there. I'd be very fascinated with that. God, if I could do paranormal every night, I would. If the government is telling us about UFOs, something is up, and they're misdirecting us. Zippo Fanatic 77, yeah. So it's one of two things, Zippo. It is something is really up, and there's something major going down that's much worse than aliens, and so they're breaking out the alien card, which is either way, Zippo, it's bad, right? So it's either aliens or it's something worse. Like I can't think what could be worse. Yellowstone is going to blow up. That nuclear power plant in Japan is actually just in full on like legit meltdown. And the Pacific Ocean will be dead in a year. I mean, I don't know. I'm just kind of joking here. I don't mean to scare anybody. Yeah, I don't Zippo. Believe me, when I get to contact in the desert and I hear the experts talking about this, I will pass it on. I expect to hear it's going to be a fun weekend. That's why I'm like, oh, I got to get down there early because I was going to skip Friday, but not anymore. Not anymore. I got to get everything done tomorrow and get packed, and then I'm heading down. I love road tripping though. That means I got to get my tires tomorrow. Shit, I don't have time to get tires. I got to get tires out. I got a screw in one of my tires. Frank the Bunny 666. What's up, man? How's it going? Call me Ishmael. How you doing? How's your father? Why don't the Greys wear clothes? Because they're nudists. How's your father? And there's nothing to cover up. Or maybe that's invisible. Maybe that's cloaked. Maybe they just cloaked their bits, right? And they actually, when they want to impress people, they just decloak it and they go, we might be little guys, but we got it where it counts. Real life stinks sometimes. It does. I had tires. Does anybody wake up in the morning going, I'm going to go tire shopping? Yes. Zippo Fanatic 77. I would watch an Exozone every night of the week. Someday, if I can make that happen, if Doomcock and I can make that happen, that we have even discussed it, like someday. Aliens could just be sadistic. Arcantos, kind of like Douglas Adams aliens, where they just they come down as a teaser. They run around and find some unsuspecting bloke and put little antennas on their head, making meep meep noises to somebody who will never believe it. Yeah. Will you be doing a live stream from the desert? Gary Cotton Candy Bearded Gary asks. Yes, every single night. Go to nerderotic.com for the live stream schedule. I believe I have scheduled all the live streams for 8:30 or 9, depending on when I get back from the conference. Every single night, giving a recap of what I saw. I was very encouraged, guys, that the moderator on Richard Dolan's site checked out my channel, said he liked it, or he or she, I don't know if, I'm sorry, I don't know if it's a he or she, said they liked the channel. And so I sent Richard Dolan a message on his website, which I don't expect to get a, I mean, he's busy, but I asked him to come on the channel, and I'd love to have him whenever he wants. I would make it happen. I also sent out a message to Mike Barra, who I like a lot. Mike's really into the woo woo. He gets out there, but he does the anomalies on Mars and the moon, which I really love, and Doomcock really loves. So he did get back to me right away, and he said, I'm busy right now, but once I get a chance, sure. So we'll see what happens, but I'd love to get him on. He's been on Ancient Aliens. Unfortunately, it looks like poor Mike Barra has been persecuted because he backs a certain president. And so he's not, it looks like he's not going to be a contact. And I don't know how much he's in Ancient Aliens, but he's doing another show. And I like the guy. I don't care who you back politically. That means dick to me. That means about as much to me as if you like seafood or not. Just to let you guys know. Honestly, I am way more concerned if you like Hitchhiker or not, or Lord of the Rings. These are important things to me, or comic books. Exo Nope. Grays don't have nads, says Blasted Heath. You just had to go out and make them feel, but why are you shaming the Grays for being nadless? Blasted Heath, that is so insensitive of you. Oh my God. Thank God you have a Captain Kirk avatar. I would not forgive you. I love shrimp, says Dick. Well, good for you, Dick. Dick Slap Nugget like shrimp. Now, Mr. Slap Nugget, I don't like shrimp. I don't like seafood because they are bugs. They are bugs that crawl on the bottom of an ocean, getting all the poop and eating all the poop. So I don't like bugs that eat the poop. That's basically why I don't like seafood. Asteroid Strike from Space says, Ronan Blade, well, you've been reading your Expanse. We certainly don't want that to happen. We don't want to piss off the Belters, but it looks like we've kind of done that already. We should have just given them more money, and they wouldn't have slung those rocks at us. It's all Avasarala's fault. Blame Avasarala. I know she comes off as a hero in the books, but she really did disrespect the Beltas. Love Lord of the Rings and Hitchhikers, says Kildirect. Well, we're buds like that. Good night, Mary. Good night, Mary Ashmead. Hardest working wrench in the business. One of them for sure. I got the best. D Newton, $5. Hi, Gary. Long-time listener. One of the most interesting phenomena to me is the Mandela Effect, possible subject for upcoming Exozone. We have covered it briefly before. It is one of my absolute favorite subjects because I feel like I've experienced it a couple of times, but with something completely different and some really random stuff. So let me tell you about my Mandela Effect story. And I got to make sure I get my names right here. So Chris Squire. Chris Squire died in 2015. I remember Chris Squire dying in 2012. I remember talking about it to people at my comic shop. I remember hearing about it on the radio because I happen to be quite a fan of Chris Squire. I'm a bass player. So, I mean, there's not a lot of people we can hero worship as bass players if you're like rock bass playing. So like, of course, Geddy Lee and Chris Squire, and yeah. So I remember him dying, but then apparently he died in 2015 and I got it all wrong. So I could have gotten it all wrong, of course. Or was that a Mandela effect? I don't know. I don't know. Come on, Gary. Grays don't have bits. Well, we don't know. It could be cloaked. I'm telling you, it's cloaking technology. It's a cloak condom. It's a cloak condom. Peter Davison, Australian $10. I saw two UFOs. One red, one white, traveling at right angles within 30 seconds of each other, followed by an Air New Zealand jumbo heading home. Interesting. I have never seen one, Peter. I would love to see one. My wife has seen one. My father-in-law has seen a bunch because he was a pilot. My uncle is the one who got me believing UFOs in the first place. He's an old Navy guy and he's got like a gazillion stories. My cousin, who was a nuclear tech on a submarine in the 80s, chasing around Russian subs, he's got stories. Yeah. My dad had stories before he passed. My dad doesn't believe in shit and he had stories. I would love to see one. Absolutely love it. I always anytime I go to Palm Springs, I bring my Uber binoculars, and this year night vision goggles. Bring in my night vision goggles, and I stare at the sky for hours. Yeah, I'm a freak. I do that stuff. Thank you, Peter Davis. Dr. Venkman, the containment unit leaking again. Damn it. It's Egon's fault. Sorry about the orb ghosts. You can blame the Spud. I blame Egon. I blame Egon. May he rest in peace. Egon's ghost. Tech guy, $5. There's a theory that the Earth core has stopping data has showed a weirdness. Also, pole has shifted a lot. Core stop equals magnetic radiation protection goes away. Tech guy, that is true. That our electromagnetic field has been degrading lately, and it is very concerning. The thing is, it's happened a lot before. And you guys know I'm very much into Randall Carlson and ancient civilizations. And all you have to do is, if you live in America, walk around. If you've been to the Mary's gone, but she's in Utah. So anything south of Utah, you'll go around New Mexico, you go around Arizona, definitely Nevada, and the eastern part of California. What's it look like? What's the terrain look like? It's all desert, of course. But what's it look like? It looks like a bunch of water just tore everything away. When you're going on Interstate 40 in Arizona, you see these little buttes and you see the water erosion everywhere, like a bunch of water. Either that was the bottom of an ocean at one time or a giant flood had been there through some time. But yeah, the whole Western United States has got rocks everywhere and giant. It looks like it was pummeled at some point in time in the distant past. I'm not sure, but that's what it is. I mean, the ground just doesn't get that way. There is wind erosion and there is water erosion, and they are two completely different things. Not that I am a geologist, because I'm not, but I'm weirdly into this stuff. Have been since I was a kid. It fascinated me since when I was a kid. I lived in a house in a place called La Costa, and it's in Carlsbad. It's by a golf course. It's on a hill, and it's about 6 miles inland from the beach. And I remember playing with my little Tonka trucks and digging up holes, so I can make roads. And I'd always dig up seashells. So my dad at the time told me, well, yeah, because they for the dirt, they got the dirt from the lagoon. They dredged the lagoon to bring the dirt over for the to make, to level out the dirt so they can build on top of the hill for the tract housing. Turns out that wasn't the case. We later found out that no, that's seashells. They're all around the ground here, and if you go to Southern California and you dig far enough, you can find shells. They're all over the place, meaning that stuff was under the water. I just thought it was weird. What are your thoughts about CERN? Jack Random, $2. Pretty weird. I'm gonna admit that I think we're effing with stuff we don't understand, because Michio Kaku was on Art Bell one time, and Art Bell asked him, he says, so what's CERN about? And he's all, well, we just and Michio Kaku is awesome. I think he's a great voice for science. He's a very kind man. He doesn't like he'll entertain anything because he's a true scientist. Like if somebody comes at him with the wackiest theory, he goes, well, I guess that could happen, but just nice, like him. He's way better than Degrassi High. So what was I saying? CERN. So he was describing CERN to Art Bell, and it's like particles at high speed, and they're making little black holes. And Art Bell's like, "What? Oh yeah, we can make little micro black holes." And Art Bell goes, "What are the chances of one of those turning into like a big black hole?" And they're all, "Oh, it's very small. It's very small." But he's all, "But it's not impossible." Well, yeah, it's mostly impossible, but it's not impossible. And he finally got Michikaku to say, "No, it's not impossible." And our Bell's like, "What are we doing that for? I mean, what's the point?" "Well, we've learned a lot of things. Is it worth dying in a black hole for?" And he's all, "Well." So, so I think I know where you're going with the Jack Random with the CERN stuff, the Mandela Effect. I think the Mandela Effect. You want to hear a weird out there theory? I think it happens all the time. I think it happens all the time. I don't think. I think it's a possibility that there is a multiverse that is interactive. That sometimes, what is a good example? Like gear shifting. Like the multiverse sometimes just goes and one line breaks and it connects with another line. And we're just always moving through an always interchangeable multiverse. So we're not, it's a possibility. I'm not saying this is a fact. Listen, I've done lots of acid. I've thought about this stuff a lot. So thank you, Jack Random. Peter Davison, Australian $5. Also saw weird Airbus disappear over sassafras. Sassafras. I just like saying sassafras. It's so fun to say. Local community and, oh man, this one's not fun to say. Dandenong Rangers into only cloud in the sky. Engines went quiet, gone. Weird. Video this, Peter Davison. Man, God, if you'd have gotten videos of either of those things, you'd have 1 million subscribers on your YouTube channel. Manic Boy Productions, Canadian $2. Any cool ghost encounters, Gary? By the way, love Exozone. I love Exozone too. By the way, this is not an official Exozone. There is no Exozone without Doomcock. Period. End of story. I keep checking to make sure. I mean, I did send him a link, but I don't think he'll be here. So, okay, where was I? Ghost stories. Yes, quick. I'll be quick about this. I used to live and work in the La Paloma Theater in Encinitas doing the Rocky Horror Picture Show. We used to clean up afterwards. We used to use a blower. We didn't sweep. We get a blower out and just blow all the popcorn into a pile and sweep it up. And and then smoke a lot of weed and trip balls in the movie theater and sometimes watch movies late at night. So one night after Rocky Horror, we're hitting on a couple girls and we take them down. There's a stage. So it's an old time theater. So there's a stage, and underneath the stage, there is a dressing room. It's a little pathway, and we're in the dressing room and we're smoking more bowls. And we locked up the place. It was locked up. And we hear somebody walk over the stage. So we're going, oh, well, somebody's here. Obviously, we go up and check. Nobody's there. Okay, maybe they're fucking with us. And go back down, hear the steps again. And they're very slow, by the way. And we're like, okay, somebody's fucking with us. We go up, we don't see anything. Third time, we go up and we get up in time to where somebody would have been there. Like the steps were moving slow enough where we got up, we would have seen. Nobody could have gotten away that fast. Nobody got away. We checked every exit. We freaked the hell out. Yes, I smoked a lot of pot, but I don't like hallucinate on pot. Back in the day, I could handle my weed. Okay. Plus, our weed in Southern California sucked. It was terrible. So yeah, we freaked out and spent the rest of the night over at the taco shop across the street. The two people had died in that movie theater since 2020 or 1927. It used to be a silent movie theater. The organ player committed suicide, and then somebody fell off the balcony accidentally and died, broke their neck. Some girl. A Mandela Effect or simulated reality? Asked Jack Random, $2. The simulated reality thing is something I've thought about, and would it matter? because it's reality to us. Whether I mean, yeah, I think honestly, this is a simulated reality. Even if you like want to use the straight up Bible version of everything, that is a created reality by a creator. So it is simulated. Well, in a way, it's made. So yeah, interesting. I think it's fascinating. I think the actual truth will. I don't know if my belief, Jack Random, is we it's not we can't handle the truth, we can't conceive it. Like our brains just are, even if we used 100% maximum brain power, we couldn't conceive what reality really is. But it doesn't mean we don't try to find out. I think that's what's brilliant about being a human. Once we stop discovering stuff, I really hate that man, we should have been to Mars by now. We should have space stations in space. That's why I think something's up. I truly think something's up because we're all gung ho to space, and then we stopped, and then we're supposed to accept the fact that it's a money thing. Well, last time I checked, government budgets haven't gone down. So, yeah. Eric K, 200 billion stars in the Milky Way alone. We are not that special to be the only life. The building blocks for life everywhere. Eric K, you are correct. $5. What keeps scientists from acknowledging this reality? Now, more and more are every day. So credit to them. It's a dogmatic, it's religion. Science to some scientists is a religion. They get dogmatic. They get drunk on their power. They have in academia, the power structure. I mean, it's their complete identity. So so it must suck. So some guys are just so egotistical that they have to be the smartest guy in the room. That piece of paper they got from college is like everything that their whole self-worth is based on. And it's the human ego. The human ego keeps us from advancing so much because they have to be the smartest guy in the room. I'm with Douglas Adams. I'm not sure we're the smartest species on the planet. I mean that. I'm not convinced of that. What does Douglas Adams say? Man thinks he is more intelligent. He thinks he's the most intelligent being on the planet. I'm paraphrasing here because he invented New York, cars, wars, and hamburgers. And dolphins think they're more intelligent for precisely the same reasons. Just making sure I didn't miss a. Thank you for all the super chats for an impromptu. Thank you for Mark Lazarth is here. What's up, buddy? Yeah, Robert Zubrin was written several big proposals to show how he could have gone to Mars with current tech since the 80s, says Josh Kirk. And it's frustrating to read that, right? I mean, I'm not going to get my soapbox about stuff. I mean, listen, I don't care enough about politics. The only thing I care enough is moving forward. We as a species are going to battle. We are nowhere near utopia. We will not see it in 5 lifetimes. We are so far away from it. Doesn't mean we can't move forward and go to space. I think going to space is the single most important thing we need to do. Because we might have to leave this rock someday, and we want to continue, don't we? But I agree with Graham Hancock. The one thing we should be the number one worry on this planet, sorry folks, should not be the environment, because the environment will not matter if an asteroid comes down and wipes us out. Then we're just wiped out. Now, there is a lot of evidence that there was a major cataclysm as little as 12,000 years ago. As a matter of fact, there's a lot of scientific evidence to back this up. And the Earth rebounded quite quickly. And that was a horrible. Let me give you an example of how bad of an environmental disaster that was. The North American continent was on fire. The North American continent was on fire. Not just a piece of it, the continent. There's a layer of dust everywhere. Everything over 150 pounds was killed off forever. And not hunted into extinction. There is lots of evidence of mammoth flash flooded in big piles, and they found piles of mastodon bones and stuff. Look it up. It's something bad happened. Pole shift, comet. I don't know. Nobody knows yet. They're leaning towards a piece. Fragments of a comet hit the North American ice shelf in 11 something BC or 9,000 BC. So 12,000 years ago, and caused a mass flood, which caused the flood myth and wiped it. And it happened here in the States. It happened mainly in the central and western United States. And if you look at the western United States, go look at your Google Maps and look at the western United States. Does it not look like it melted? It does. Now, I'm not saying that's it, but certainly looks like that. And Randall Carlson has been all over. See, what we need more of is Randall Carlson. Randall Carlson is not an accredited geologist, but according to many, he is the smartest geologist on the planet because he has raging OCD and is fascinated with that stuff and spent his entire life researching it. I don't think the guy has ever dated, to be honest with you. And I don't think he cares. But I'll show you a map real quick. OBDM videos. What's up? How's it going? Thank you for the $9.99. I do a show that's a mix of Howard Stern and Art Bell. I love that. Cheap plug. I recommend looking into a subject called Missing 411. Oh, I know it, my friend. Missing people in national parks. OBDM videos. One of my favorite subjects, David Paulides. The single creepiest subject I've gone over. And I loved how he's evolved from not giving theories to giving theories now. He's done multiple books. He's done a documentary. The guy started out as a Bigfoot researcher, and I think a lot of people, just don't listen to him because of that, but they should. He's an ex-cop. He's very thorough, and you are right. That is a fascinating subject, and we've done a couple of exozones on it. But you got a channel? I'll check out your channel, man. Thank you, OBDM videos. Let me see. Go to channel. My light is blinding me right now. I don't know why. Probably because I'm tired. All right. You got a sub. I subbed. Dr. Vinkman, I don't want aliens to exist. Face huggers? No, thank you. Yeah, I don't want face huggers to exist. Chances are something like that does, though. I figure if the human mind can conceive it, then nature can. What was I floating around back when I used to think I was going to like write comics and stuff? I was going to do a comic on everything being true, like every story, everything anybody's ever thought of is actually just a remnants of a memory passed down through ages and eons, since we're all like connected to at some point the first two humans, like patient zero, that through the death and birth, the DNA is passed on, and within that DNA is just a little bit of memory, and that making all stories true. And I just thought, this was when I first read Lord of the Rings. I'm like, God, that is so detailed. It's got to be. I mean, it feels like it was real. At the time when I read it, I was also on acid and 16. But Mark C. The base of the Sphinx is 3,000 to 5,000 years older than the top. Yes, and there is a scientist, named Robert Schoch, who has proven that. Actually, his dating is 20,000 years. 20,000 years. The Sphinx is old. Is fracking old. Ever notice that the big breakthroughs in physics and advancements seem to be have stopped since World War II and the superminds, breakaway civilization not sharing? Jack Random. Yeah. The breakaway civilization has, and that's a Richard Dolan topic. Go watch any of his lectures on the breakaway civilization. They are genius. They are genius. So, you know who was in the Richard Dolan chat today? Gary McKinnon. He was in the freaking chat, and it was the real one. That was cool. It's got at least 10,000 years of water erosion. Yes, Tom King, it does. DNA memory. Yes, Mike Brown. It's just something I've thought about. I don't know if it's true, but you think about a lot of things when you're on acid. The study you're talking about, the event 12,000 years ago, is fake. That never happened. Just because somebody writes about it, something doesn't make it true, says Sovereign 506. No, that study is not fake. And I will show you. I will show it to you because the study is not finished yet. It is the Younger Dryas theory. Younger Dryas comet theory. And it's a theory. Younger Dryas impact hypothesis. It is currently still being worked on by it was initially 60 scientists, and now it's more. That's according to Graham Hancock is helping fund this and stuff. We don't know if it was a comet yet or not, but we'll see. We'll see. Robert Schoch thinks it was plasma discharge. Now here's what, when you bring up the impact hypothesis, what instantly happens, and this is what Randall Carlson and Graham Hancock have to deal with, is the people who are so anti-religious. And this is actually what kept it from being seriously studied for a long, long time, because they were like, oh God, we don't want to give any justification to the Bible, people. We don't. So they really preached gradualism forever, and it became dogmatic. But it was a lot of scientists and geologists who weren't religious, by the way. And this isn't trying to back up anything religious. If you believe it, great. That's great. But it really kept us from progressing, because there was a lot of people who were anti-religious, and they would feel like that this would give validity to that. And there, you know, and you get caught in between going, but there's dry falls. Explain dry falls. Dry falls is like smoking gun right there. Look into it. Look into it. Just, but that is erroneous information. It is not considered fake. It is actual scientists. So it was an actual study that has actually been being worked on as we speak. They have not. It's a theory right now. I'm not stating it as fact. I state nothing here as fact. But it is not fake. No, that's not true. Please come in here with facts. Don't come in here with beliefs. You can have your beliefs and state them, but yeah, don't say something's fake. That's not. Robert Schoch's theories, Zippo Fanatic 77. It's interesting. It's interesting. I kind of lean towards the comic. Now, the reason Robert's believable is because he's got conviction. He's got major, and they might actually, Zippo, be both true. They might both be true, because the Younger Dryas was a very brief period, geological period, where the temperature of the Earth we were coming out of the ice age slowly, and then the ice age just ended, and then it started back up again. So, and they found this out recently by getting the ice cores from Greenland. And there is a layer of nanodiamonds, and only certain things can make nanodiamonds. Now, unfortunately, the nanodiamonds can back up both Randall Carlson and Graham Hancock's Younger Dryas theory, and then Robert Schoch's theory, and a couple, and volcanism too, like volcanoes. So, but more and more scientists are starting to believe that something cataclysmic happened 12,000 years ago. There's also they also have to fight, yes, the environmentalists on this, because that's turned into a thing too. So I would preface that it's very good to recycle. It is very bad to throw like plastic into the ocean. Um, we should be way past gas vehicles right now, but I drive one. So, but do I think the world is coming to an end due to human pollution? I think that's a bit of hyperbole. And yes, I know there's tons of science, but there's also tons of science that say no. And I don't know. And I don't ever want to get that debate because I'm not worried about it. So, but that's the fight that Carlson and Graham Hancock face, because the earth did rebound pretty quick. A lot of things died though. Like a lot of things died. But Graham Hancock will say himself that we should be moving towards more energy efficient stuff. Certainly, absolutely. Pollution sucks. I'm in California. Believe me, I see it all the time. San Francisco loves to think they're smog free. This is fucking smoggy ass city. If you're driving on 280 south towards the airport, you're kind of on a hill, which is right next to the San Andreas Fault, and you look over the whole bay. It's freaking smog everywhere. Smog everywhere. But I digress. I blame Snowflame. I do too. It is cocaine power, says Charlie Chan. I do too. But Randall Carlson's an interesting guy. And by the way, any theory I put out there, it's just something I consider. I don't know. I really don't know because I wasn't there. SF Stinko, Sari Dreadful. It's not as bad as our poop-filled sidewalks. Kylo Derek says, been to San Fran, can confirm. Yeah, the San Franciscans love to go, oh, the LA area is just so full of smog and we're not. It's like, oh, please. The traffic is just as bad, if not worse, because there's a bunch of bridges. So yeah, no. San Diego's better than both the cities. There, I said it. Could the drifting of continents stop and reverse direction or break apart? What do you think? Well, they drifted away before. That's a hard concept for me to give. I mean, I know what happened, but like the land moved, and how long did it take? And I mean, that's gradualism, but I don't know. Yeah, that would suck to be here if that was happening. El Presidente, what's up? Thank you for the $5, Nicholas Horton. The thing with plastic is it's pretty much hyperbolic in Europe and America. We barely contribute anything. It's mostly China and similar countries that dump everything into the oceans. You're right. Yep. It's also, listen, I don't understand why we don't just use glass. What's wrong with glass? I like glass. Yes, they did, Al Bundy. They recently found an impact crater in Greenland covered in ice, and they're not sure how old it is. They gave it an age range of 100,000 years to 12,000 years. Interesting. That's the only thing they haven't found in the comet theory is they have not found any impact sites, but Randall Carlson thinks he has. He thinks they've found some kind of blowback. And yeah, that's one of the big things. No, they don't. It's interesting stuff. But what happens, the whole point I was trying to say is you see politics gets involved and dogma and beliefs, and it just keeps us from like considering things. Just consider it. Yeah, like I can believe that the flood myth came from this is a possibility, by the way, that the flood myth, which is a universal myth that goes over many cultures around the world. Like I lost there is an account out there. It's somewhere. It's a very high number that have the flood myth. Isn't that weird? So I can see that it came from some cataclysm that happened that's got passed down in some kind of verbal tradition, verbal storytelling, and it became part of our lore, and lore became myth, and myth became memory, and the things that should have been remembered were forgotten, and then Sauron comes and kills us all. But yeah, I think that's something to think about. I think it's certainly something to think about. Alavarian says, lived in LA for years. As they say, don't trust air you can't see. Mike Brown, when you get to my books, you will find out a lot of stuff from Ancient Aliens and other stuff, info, UFO stuff. I have my cursor over that word. And more. We're even going to do something on DNA memory in a later book. That's cool. That is cool. DJ, I love to hear that. The DNA memory thing is something me and my friend JD spent hours tripping on. We dropped some 4-way window pane. We were laying in an ice plant, like a giant. There's a lot of ice plant in San Diego. So there was a giant hill of ice plant. We just laid there for 6 hours, tripping balls, looking at the clouds. And DJ Bowman, San Diego, Rick and AJ Simon approved. Damn straight. If I could do theme music, it would be the Simon and Simon theme song. It would 100% be that song. I love that show. Everybody in San Diego loved that show because San Diego's like the little brother of California, starved for attention. Like San Francisco and LA get all the attention and everybody forgets about San Diego. So San Diego's got the biggest inferiority complex a city could ever have. San Fran, they've cut down all the trees and replaced them with homeless and lawyers. None your business. They did cut down all the trees. Bet you guys didn't know that. Yeah, there's not all of them, but I mean, a lot of trees have been removed from the city for some reason. Never got any explanation for that, but all the trees around in my neighborhood, around my kids' school, have been removed. Did the earth move for you? Death Networks. I can feel, I'm like a Time Lord. I can feel the move for the earth. 2.5 minutes to doomsday. Or Iron Maiden, 2 minutes to midnight. Weren't they all old growth? Old growth? That's what she said. Okay, let's get to some more chat here. So, trees are dangerous. They are. They create carbon monoxide. They're going to kill us all. Saw that Nerdrotic is subscribed to Secure Team 10. Yes, I am. Does he not know that he's been caught out faking videos and such, even using a voice changer for his insiders? Secure Team? I don't recall ever seeing one of his videos where he's talking to somebody on the phone. Are you thinking of somebody else? But yes, proud subscriber to Secure Team. Yeah, that would suck. No, I just watch his UFO videos. He doesn't talk to people on the phone in the videos I watch. Wish Tom Selleck would have made an appearance on Simon and Simon. They did a crossover. Just got the boys visiting him. Yeah, and Higgins coming over from San Diego. That's right. Okay. I thought that was a 2-part episode. Am I wrong on that one? But I haven't seen it in 20 years. Gary, do you believe microbes travel on meteorites? If so, could there be a better season script date on that one? Yes, Vulcan Wolf. I believe that 10 microbes left in a room for 50 years could come out with 10 better scripts than season 8. And I think a room full of monkeys could have come out with a better script in 5 minutes. San Diego loves their zoo, air and Navy museum. Some of the best beaches in the world too. A lot of folks don't travel up to North County, but there's a little beach called Swami's, which is brilliant. It's a brilliant place, but not a lot of people know about it. But now you do. What's up, Puerto Rico? I love Puerto Rico. Secure Team 10's Belfast UFO vid was complete bunk. I gave him the true story and he doubled down on it. The Belfast UFO. All the fan endings for season end have been superior to actual seasons, says Jean de Valet. Yeah, Doomcox was vastly superior. So everyone wonders how Egyptians cut stone and no one likes my water wheel on the Nile River theory. Maybe. They needed water to cut the stone. It depends on the stone. There's a lot of stone that I believe they did cut, and there's some that they cut, but they had some help, or they had some form of technology, or they had something that we have just don't know about. See, civilizations can advance differently. And I just think there was an older civilization that existed that was not like more advanced than we are now, but was advanced in a very different way. There's so little we know about history, and as more time goes on, they are going further back. Remember, it wasn't long ago that no human set foot in North America longer than 10,000 years ago. Then it turned to 12,000 years, and now we've got evidence of 150,000 years. So, yeah. No, Jasper. No. When? Well, I hope he gets the help he needs, if that's true. If Kit Harington is in uh-oh. Oh, for stress and alcohol? You know what? He's probably freaking out. I mean, like, he had this steady freaking job, and it looked like he was going to be set for life, and then they fucked it up so royally that, yeah, he's looking at a pay cut. He's looking at a pay cut. There's the thing called residuals, and people need to rewatch your stuff for the residuals to matter. And they just ruined Game of Thrones forever. Scroll up at Lauren Bastian question in the chat, sent super chat. I'll look in the super chats there. Thank you, Kaylee. I will look at the super chats. Lauren, did I miss Lauren? Lauren Bastian, there you go. Sorry about that. Do you think because of the new UFO news coverage and discovery is the reason why YouTube started nuking the UFO and conspiracy accounts recently? I believe they started nuking the UFO accounts because they're about to start nuking channels for the election. I don't think it's connected to the disclosure, or they would keep them up. The UFO channels make YouTube a ton of money. Secure Team makes YouTube a ton of money. I think they're switching channels monetization off to see if they can handle it. Thing is, YouTube isn't making money. They can't just start willy-nilly getting rid of channels with 1 million subscribers, and they can't willy-nilly start getting rid of 2,000, 3,000 channels that equal a channel with 1 million subscribers. That's a lot of income. Listen, they're making 30% off mostly off of what I do for them on the other channel. So if you extrapolate that out, with Secure Team 20 times, that's money. That's a lot of money. Secure Team makes a lot of money. He does. Are all his videos real? Of course not. Of course not. But I don't think he says they are. I think he says they're interesting. But I got no problem with them. Now, but I haven't watched every single one of his videos. So I don't know. But it'll be hard for me to judge. What I've seen from his videos, I find him entertaining. And that's all I go to it for. I don't feel personally insulted if he tries to push something off that he probably genuinely believes that isn't real. I can tell. But I've also seen him call out fake videos before too. But sorry, I missed that one, Lauren. Thank you for the $5. Jack Random, 6 years ago, I was sent a video about pyramids and how they lined on the constellations and other sites, Stonehenge, etc. Do you know its name 6 years ago? I was sent a video about pyramids and how they lined up on the constellations. You need to look up Robert Bauval. Robert Bauval was the one who discovered that the pyramids are lined up with Orion. So look for any of his videos. He's actually that's the one guy I've met. Super nice guy. He was an engineer in Egypt, and as with many people in the paranormal, it's a hobby that they fell into, and they did out of passion and the search for knowledge, because none of us really believe the official story of everything anymore, do we? I mean, are we that? I don't think so. I don't think so. I think we want to hear multiple stories and make our own decisions as adults. But I don't know. Just the way what I've experienced in my life is it's always good to consider the possibility. I don't wake up in the morning thinking I got it all figured out. But there's a lot of people who do, and good for them. I think having it all figured out would be incredibly boring. Incredibly boring. I love learning new stuff and having my mind blown. And I don't need to be the smartest guy. Believe me, I'm not the smartest guy in the room. No, I really don't care. I like to learn. And I love weird stuff. And the weirder, the better. It makes life less mundane. If it is true, you can make 100,000 picking up poop in San Francisco. 60,000, Mr. Twisted 72. I believe it was 60,000 last time I heard, which really, I mean, that's a lot everywhere else, and that's barely making it here. 60,000 a year by yourself. If you had no kids, no pets, and you lived in a studio, you'd be okay. No joke. $100,000 is what you need to make to, if you're just moving here and you haven't lived here for a while, to make it in San Francisco right now. And believe me, no, don't come here. Don't. You go live in like Santa Fe, New Mexico, or San Antonio, Texas, or San Diego. San Diego's pretty expensive, but it's beautiful and nice. It's like 72 every day. Gets hot inland. You want to kind of stay away from the El Cajones of the world and the Escondidos. Well, I liked Escondido. I lived there, but some people don't like heat. So try to get close to the coast. Vista, San Marcos, beautiful places. San Clemente, yeah. I'm trying to think of places I've been. Idaho is pretty cool. Idaho Falls, really nice. I like it there. Yeah. Santa Fe, New Mexico is kind of my favorite. I'm thinking of moving there. Thoughts on Noah's Ark ever being found and hundreds of seashells being found on top of Mount Everest? I can believe that seashells were found on Mount Everest. That I believe. Noah's Ark, that one's tough for me. My theory on Noah's Ark is way out there. You don't want to hear it. But it's more ancient aliens than them finding Noah's Ark. But I'm fascinated about the stories of them possibly finding it. And I remember reading a book on a plane when I was a kid about Noah's Ark. It was great. Could the drifting of the continents stop and reverse directions and break apart? Oh, I've already read that one. Love your channel. By the way, Dr. Venkman, thank you for the super chat. Mr. Twisted's $1.99. Thank you. $5. Thank you. Fac Eamon, $5. Love the channel. What do you think of the moon landing? Seems unlikely that we really did it. And NASA admitted they deleted the original footage. I think we went, but I think it's a possibility we lost the footage. I think we went. My co-host thinks differently. And I think we went. But the footage I don't know. So people have shown what the effects footage for 2001 looked like, and it just looks like bad 60s. I mean, I don't know on that one. I don't know. There's a lot of weird stuff about the moon footage, though. I will acknowledge that for sure. I was awake during the Arizona lights and watched it going on all night when I was living in Arizona as a kid. The news was reporting on it the entire time until dawn. Lauren Bastian, that is one of the single greatest, most witnessed UFO events of all time. I remember that hitting the news. I remember that hitting the news in San Diego. And then the documentaries afterwards and the witnesses, and and thousands of people saw the same thing. And it's stuff like that. There's very few. Listen, a lot of UFO reports and stuff are explainable things. I would say the vast majority of them. We don't have to have an argument there. It is the 5%, the 2%, the 1% that is just absolutely unexplainable, with legitimate witnesses, or better yet, photography, video evidence, radar evidence. There was a disclosure meeting at the turn of the century that Stephen Greer did, that got together, that brought together some legit people with some legit stories, from FAA to everything. I mean, there's too much. There's too much evidence. The universe is too big. I think I think at this point you have to explain how there could not be life. And I know there's the equation and the theory and and I just want to remind you, and I don't mean this in any other than we are all single humans. We are basically monkeys doing math. That's all we are. So we're very imperfect beings, and physics is being readjusted all the time. There is many things we do not understand. So any point, and listen, look them up. There is so many. I think I remember in my lifetime 3 or 4 times seeing in like the Atlantic and other papers going, has science achieved the peak? Have we figured it all out? Ha! That's hilarious. We're not even close. So consider the possibility. That's all. That's it. The Ark is a giant space station 26,000 light years away from the Milky Way. So say halo. Ha ha, nihilist shadow. I saw what you did there. Perth Comics, what's up? I still argue with gravity. I do too. I wish I could throw myself at the ground and miss. I do. This is a trippy stream for 2 a.m. Mike Kyle, that's what a 2 a.m. stream is supposed to be. Trippy, man. Pyramids are the most efficient way to stack blocks for all civilizations. You are right. And that was that. I mean, whoever did it, efficiency. Spot on efficiency. Applause to whoever did that. Yeah, Jasper. Everything has an agenda these days, though. But you're right. Yeah, and that's why that's why it's tough. It's tough to talk about this stuff just for fun. We get flack like you would not believe. Now, it's nothing compared to the flack I get for Captain Marvel or Doctor Who or goddamn Game of Thrones. Freaking the flack. Honestly, it dwarfs what I get for Star Trek or Doctor Who. The flack I have gotten for Game of Thrones. It's died down a bit though. As the season went on, more and more people kind of got on board. So it's really died down. It was very interesting to see the people coming around for Game of Thrones. But this occasionally this will piss people off. But that's why I just try to say, hey, we're going to talk about the woo-woo stuff right now. And if you're not into it, you might not want to listen to this one. Did you watch the Mars TV show on National Geographic? I did not, but I probably should. Exozone on more supernatural stuff soon. Yes, Stargate 404. We will be doing Exozone this weekend for sure. I don't know what day, because we're doing the Inquisition on Doomcock's channel Sunday night, and we got a big crowd last Sunday for episode 1, and we want to carry that over. So my thinking for Exozone and this is just my thinking, so that means we're just pitching it. We're not making any decisions yet. is doing it another night. I definitely want to do it at night, and I want to do a day one as well for our European friends. But they will mostly live here because of YouTube's rules right now, which are very strict. This will not get shared. This will get demonetized for sure. But I'm getting ready to go to Contact in the Desert. I want to get everybody warmed up because there's going to be a lot of this. And believe me, when I get back from Contact in the Desert, I will be sharing what I hear. So I want everybody to keep in mind that I will be sharing what I hear. These will not necessarily be my thoughts, but I will share everything I heard, and then you guys can decide. And listen, there's some pretty out there people who are going to go. We've got the Richard Dolans of the world, and then we've got the Laura Eisenhowers of the world. So pyramids existing in Asia, Africa, and South America. It's not a coincidence that they're all linked somehow. Nicholas Horton, you're right. No matter what anybody says, I believe that there was contact between the civilizations a long time ago. How? Well, I don't know. But they found Polynesian DNA in the rainforest. So that means somebody was getting it on with somebody 150,000 years ago. Love will find a way. If the government slowly discloses UFO, why now? To what end, Jack Random? That is the $2 super chat question, Jack Random. What Zippo brought up earlier is the two unnerving possibilities. It's UFOs and aliens, or it's something worse, and they're trying to distract us with the only thing they know would. UFOs and aliens. What could be worse than that? Has the Antichrist been born? I mean, is all of it true? I mean, somebody has to be right. So, I mean, Good Omens is coming out on Thursday. So it could be the Antichrist. Adam could be here. Somebody call Crowley. George Robert Jastrow quote for the scientist. Jack Random, $2. To the world. I'm very fired up for that show, if you can't tell. If you can't tell, I am fired up for Good Omens. Let's get back to the chat here. Looking forward to Good Omens. Yes. What kind of name is SJW Removal Incorporated? Let's try to be nice in the chat. Amazonian DNA found in Asia. Nihilist Shadow. That I did not know. What was found in Asian, though? Asian. What was found in China was buried in the sands of the Gobi Desert. I could be wrong. Were red-haired white folk who were very tall, with just mummies. They found mummies. That was weird. Alpha Omega. So you have been mentioned a Doctor Who video coming for the past 3 weeks. Looking forward to it. Alpha Omega. I started doing it, Alpha Omega, and then Game of Thrones hit, and it kind of went by the wayside. But I'm taking the footage from it, Alpha, and I'm going to use it for another video. And it's not a fun one. It's not one I really. I mean, I have fun for all my videos, but I mean, we're just friends here. It's the Doctor Who nobody cares anymore. Like it happened, Alpha, and I'm so pissed because I was afraid this was going to happen when they went down this experimental road with Doctor Who. Is people get mad, they see how bad it was, they sat through that season, and there's no fracking way they're going to sit through another one. And it is so god awful. And now they're starting to bring back the Jadoon. And what did I say last year? I said they're going to start bringing back a bunch of 10th Doctor stuff. Now they're bringing back Osgood. Like, oh boy, that's going to bring the fans back. Osgood. Which version? The Zygon version? I don't care. And the thing is, nobody cares. Nobody cares enough to even be mad about Doctor Who anymore. So that's going to be my next video. That sucks. And it's just basically me ranting. So sorry for that, but I have half of it shot, and I'm sorry it took so long. But I'm glad that you're looking forward to it. That does my heart good. I still love Doctor Who, and maybe over on this channel, Alpha Omega, I could start reviewing like Big Finish stuff because I would love to do some positive Doctor Who because I adore Doctor Who and always will. The old Doctor Who will always have a very special place in my heart. It's my favorite thing. It is. And when I see David Tennant on Good Omens, I just think about like, I know nobody wants to ever go back again, but wouldn't David Tennant returning to Doctor Who just be the biggest thing in genre? I mean, honestly, it'd be bigger than Picard going back to Star Trek at this point. It would make more of a splash. It would make the BBC billions, but they won't do it. Have you picked up this In Search of DVD set yet? Matt, Joseph, I have, and I actually have two. I bought two, and I need to send one to Doomcock, which I haven't done yet. It is amazing, and it's cheap. I got mine for like $27, entire series. Dr. Venkman, you heart Jodie Whittaker. You go off and you do that. You have fun doing that. Okay, bring back extinct species using DNA. Good, bad thoughts, says Viking Turtle. That's a tough question because I would love to see a mammoth. Wouldn't you love to see a mammoth? Wouldn't you love to see a dinosaur? But then we all saw Jurassic Park. I think it's a bad idea because ultimately you bring back the animal and maybe in that DNA is some kind of virus that would kill us instantly. And the chances, I mean, like, even though we would be controlling it, we can't control everything. Once we create the beast and we set the map, it wouldn't be exact. They couldn't do exact unless they found some blood somewhere, and they still couldn't do it exact. See, but if they could do it exact, that means then it could exactly replicate some kind of virus that could kill us all. They're already, listen, the Spanish flu. They bury people in lead coffins, and they're opening these goddamn things to do tests. I don't know why that's necessary. I don't like them digging too deep in the ice. Yeah. I don't know. Be interesting. I'd love to see a mammoth, though. It'd be great. Dr. Venkman, Gabby Rivera is a national treasure. She is. She really is. Honestly, she's great for YouTube. Gabby Rivera, Jodie Whittaker, Brie Larson, they're all excellent for YouTube. Mike Brown, a David Tennant comeback would simply take over nerd culture. It would. You know what? Do some Doctor Who movies. They've always wanted to do movies. Do them with David Tennant. And yeah, bring back Rose. And you know what? Maybe going back. Honestly, I mean, I know this sounds crazy, but my preference would be to bring back the Eighth Doctor, Paul McGann. But the mammoth would be all alone. Yeah, it'd be sad. What purpose would that serve? To look at it. I mean, there'd be no real purpose for it. Hey, Gary, nice new goofy 12th Doctor pick for a future video. The Google Doctor Who, Jodie Whittaker. I will check it out. Antonios Pios for 99 cents. Thank you. Thank you very much. They interbreeded with us in the Neanderthals. Obviously, I mean, look at the Annie Trekker. I'm just kidding, Annie Trekker. I love you. They now have the ability to create a new mammoth using old DNA and some elephant's DNA. Yeah, I heard they were like doing it. Don't bring back River Song. She made the Doctor look incompetent. No, I liked River Song at first, and then you're right. The joke got old. Bring back Captain Jack. Bring back freaking Torchwood. I found you because of the Doctor Who, and I miss David Tennant so much. Lauren, I do. But watch Good Omens because it's basically David Tennant acting like an evil 10th Doctor, just kind of like he did in Jessica Jones. Oh, did the last Happy air tonight? I think it did. Yeah. I was supposed to cover it, but I didn't. I got to get ready for contact in the desert. All right, folks, we're gonna wrap this one up. This was just a da, 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 da. We're gonna wrap this one up. Sorry, I'm reading the chat. Yeah, so we're gonna wrap this one up, and I will be doing more this weekend. I'm sure it'll be non-controversial. Uh, 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 um, I don't know. I mean, yeah, trolling here is just kind of, I don't know what the point is, but okay. Um, Thank you, Stargate 404. Have you and D? I listen, Mark. I was expecting the trolls today. By the way, I put out a Star Trek video. It's like fucking clockwork. Have you and DVD done some more looking into being able to take colors on Exozone? Only got a few characters to tell stories. There is a way. There is a way. So that'll probably be possible once I get my new machine, Stargate 404, and I get my soundboard. But absolutely, I already have the phone number. I've had it for ages. So yeah, we can do that. I think that'd be kind of fun. East of the Rockies. East of the Rockies. Okay, we're gonna wrap this one up, folks. Christy Miller, Mark Lazarth, Kaylee, the Cinema Queen, Mary Ashmead when she was here, Chris Persia, who is not here, but that's okay. Thank you for the wrenches, everybody. Thank you for the super chats. You guys are brilliant. Dr. Venkman, have a great evening. And I will see you all tomorrow for the Nerdrotic Nooner at noon. And we are going to talk about pop culture stuff. I've got a Game of Thrones video. Yes, I can squeak out one more. Actually, I've been poking around and yeah, and people have brought it to my attention that other people have been saying I've been doing too many. So I have to do another one. Yeah, and it's going to be about like the entitled fan and how the fan is absolutely entitled, should be, because they pay for everything. And it's an opinion you're entitled to. You're not entitled to a perfect work, but we're entitled to absolutely say it's shit when it's shit. Welcome to the world, kiddo. And if you can't handle it, do not make the work, and do not take all the praise when it's great, because yeah, you mailed it in, boys. You mailed it in. Now, as far as the Exozone stuff is going to be very heavy this weekend. Again, I'm getting down to Contact in the Desert on Thursday, and I will be reviewing Good Omens on the main channel. And then over here, I'll be reviewing the first Ancient Aliens, the first episode of Unidentified, and then Swamp Thing. So Swamp Thing will be done here. Good Omens is Thursday night. So it drops at midnight, which is 9 Eastern. So it's 9 o'clock here. So I'll be able to watch it at 9. I'll be done at 10, and we'll review the first episode. But I think Amazon is dropping it all at once, which is just dumb. But oh well, they don't listen to me. Everybody, thank you so much for coming in here. I had a blast for an impromptu one. And it's good to see you all. And we will see you all again very soon. Remember, over here on Nerdrotic Live, we do not kneel. No kneelers, especially Star Trek Discovery kneelers. So, ciao.